We in the stew, baby. It's good to see you all. What a day. What a day. Today we're going to get into something, man, gosh dang it. This thing always takes away our gold. Why are you doing that? There we go. It's kind of yellow. There's the gold. What's up, Michelle? Tammy's here. We're ready to go. What's up, Emmy? Good to see you. Guys, this is going to be one of the best interviews you have ever seen in your life. I cannot tell you how life-changing this interview was when I watched it. It is life-changing with how vulnerable. And what I love about it is it's two guys, and as we talked about before, not a lot of guys will be vulnerable and talk about their feelings. So it's a big, huge shout out to DJ Shipley. I'm so glad you guys liked it. I love having those conversations with them. It seems that every time we get together, we end up having fun and enjoying it, and we end up having a great conversation. And it always just is so easy to go back and forth, and it just naturally flows. So I love going on live with them and talking to them. They're amazing. So I got some facial hair here. I don't want to hear anything else. Okay. It's here. I don't want to hear nothing about that. Yeah, I know. He's amazing, man. I love John. He's a good guy. I'm really glad we got to do that. It's been a while since we've done our last one. So, all right, today we're going to be watching Sean Ryan. This interview was a while ago, so this is not new. This is something that when I watched it the first time, I remember telling Kelsey, I said to her, I have never been so stuck into this interview. I had to just keep watching, and it's a very long interview. So I hope you guys are ready for a long day, but it is a very, very life-changing interview. And the reason why I wanted to cover it today is because it goes with exactly what we've been talking about on this channel, which is the way you heal is to get this kind of vulnerable. But when I tell you this is the most vulnerable interview I've ever watched in my life, I am not playing. So we're going to get right into it. It's a very long one. We're going to be doing some member shout outs at the end. I'm so glad to see you guys. What's up, Tess? Good to see you. I know Sean is amazing. He's a great interviewer. He's a great listener. That's a big skill to have when you are talking and interviewing, is you're a great listener. And DJ goes into another realm of vulnerability, and he says some stuff. It's life-changing. It really is. So I'm going to grab my AirPod because they're charging. They died on me. I got to put it in there this time. We're going to share our screen and we're going to get to it. Now, if you want to watch this without my commentary, I put the link in the description below for you. This is going to be, I'm going to turn on your captions, do everything for us. So we'll have our captions on and we'll have playback speed. We will speed it up just a little bit. Let's go just a little bit faster than normal. Shout out to Sean Ryan and Vigilance Elite Productions. You guys can go watch this video all the way through, but I am going to I love Sean. No, we're not related. I heard about him because I have always been interested in military and, trauma and all those kinds of things. And so he is not someone that I know that I'm related to, but he is an interviewer as well. And he talks a lot about trauma. He talks to different service members, a lot of Navy SEALs. He is a former Navy SEAL. And so it's really, really cool to hear someone who has an understanding of it. And I think that's why people can open up to him. I think that's why other service members, Navy SEALs and Berets and all these guys can open up to Sean, because he has an understanding from living it. So let's get to it, guys.
first deployment in the SEAL teams, you get in, biggest loss in SEAL team history happens. Then you get through green team, and right after you graduate, maybe less than a year afterwards.
Yeah, I mean August of 11.
Extortion 17 happens, which again is the biggest loss in SEAL team history.
I remember looking over and seeing
this is all intro.
Jay, and I remember him sitting upright, and I watched him get shot one more time, right in the face.
This is the beginning of the interview right here.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So big shout out, first of all, also to DJ Shipley, who is the guest here, and big shout out to Sean Ryan for the interview.
And now what you've all been waiting for, my next guest. He's a former Navy SEAL and a former development group, also known as SEAL Team 6 operator. He's got the better part of 17 years of operational experience. He's also the founder of Tribe Skates, which is a skateboard company that employs only Gold Star family members. If you don't know what a Gold Star family member is, it's basically a family member who has lost an immediate family member in war. That's who he employs, which is very solid work. He's also the founder of GBRS Group, which is the premier training group in the United States and most up to date at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my next guest, Mr. DJ Shipley. DJ Shipley, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's an honor.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. We've been wanting to get one of you guys over here for a while, and finally it happened. So, but just a quick snapshot of your career before we get started. 17 years in the military, pretty much all of which is in Naval Special Warfare. Went through, but straight into the SEAL teams, and then over to Dev Group. Yep. So, medically retired. Now you are the owner of two successful companies. One being Tribe Skates, where you employ everyone employed there is a Gold Star family member, correct?
Correct.
And you guys make skateboards, apparel. You gave me one of those boards. It looks really awesome. It's going to look great here.
By the way, there's going to be cussing in here, just as a forewarning to everybody. It's one of those things where it's kind of like take it with a grain of salt, just because you guys know I've cussed. I've tried not to cuss as much, but it's yes, without a doubt, you will cry.
And then the other company you co-own with your best friend and former teammate, Cole Fackler, GBRS Group, which in my opinion is probably the most relevant, premier, exclusive training group in the country right now. I mean, you guys are definitely the most relevant and up to speed, fresh out, and from Tier 1 unit. So
that means a lot, thanks.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked out GBRS Group, check them out. So when you guys are hiring, are you only hiring SEALs? Are you only hiring Tier 1 or?
Tier 1, we got a couple Air Force guys we've worked with.
So Tier 1 guys, as you know, if you don't know, Tier 1 guys are the SEALs, like the highest ones, but a lot of those guys have a hard time transitioning out of the military, right? For all this time, you're a Navy SEAL, you're the most elite warrior, literally warrior in the entire world. And then after you're done, when you've survived being a SEAL and serving and doing that, you come into what they call civilian life. And it's a really hard transition because those guys have been doing one thing and they're so good at it. And it does not, that the skills that they have do not run into normal life skills, right? I mean, it's not a normal thing to be great with, taking people out and all that kind of stuff. So it's really beautiful to see people saying, I'm going to make sure I get Tier 1 guys who are transitioning out of the military.
A couple guys from the Army side call in and bring some favors and some niche stuff. We got a couple long range guys and we pull in when we need to. And now we have a full-time recce guy for Chris. So, CQB is the bread and butter, but I'm not afraid to branch out. Yeah, it's got to be the Tier 1 resume.
Cool. What are you guys teaching? Are you teaching, well, last night at dinner we were kind of talking about it. It was private lessons, it sounds like, groups, all the way up to SWAT?
Yeah, I mean, we do everything. Military, local law enforcement, got a couple government contracts, stuff like that. And then the civilian market. The open enrollment stuff scared us. It did. After the Chris Kyle thing, especially.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the yard line, a lot of people brand new to guns, a lot of people that really want to shoot somebody, really want to become famous. And there was no real good way to vet them unless you do private. So we do phone calls, talk to them for an hour, and then we Google search the shit out of them. You got to do a little bit of vetting.
Yeah.
And set up a call with those guys. And if they have 5 or 6 friends of all equal skill set or the same in-state, then we'll set up a set up a training event. We'll drive down there, we'll fly in, bring them up to us, and kind of do everything.
Cool. And you guys are based out of Virginia Beach?
And we've got a gym there, we've got kitchen, showers, kill house, got everything.
What's up, Christina?
No shit. Damn. How long have you been doing this?
Almost 2 years now.
2 years?
Yep. Yeah, we started at 19.
Damn. Well, it looks like it's online looking in, from the outside, looks like it's exploding. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what I love about, you have to give Sean what he does is he makes sure that whoever he brings in gets a highlight. He's taking the time to highlight what they do. And I think that's a beautiful thing, is to make sure that these guys get recognized, because a lot of them come home to be entrepreneurs, to start companies, because they're leaders, right? Like they have, like we talked about, a skill set, and a lot of times they'll start their own company and not a lot of people even know it exists. But it's like Sean takes that time out of the entire thing to make sure they get that highlight. I love that.
congratulations.
Appreciate it.
But well, before we get started, I always give everybody a gift. There you go.
Oh, Jesus.
What that cup say though?
There we go.
Merry Christmas.
Somebody must have told you. Dude. I mean,
Big boy.
She tell you how much I eat this shit?
What's that?
She tell you how much candy I eat? Dude, I do,
What's
man.
up,
I have
Kelly?
a sweet tooth, bro. Thank you. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about the gummy bear stuff last night. I love it. Like,
Yeah, so before we get started, I have a subscription account, and as much as I'd love to tell everybody that Gummy Bears finances everything that's going on here, really it's my patrons on Patreon that support the show. That's how you're able to sit here, how I'm here.
Really?
how
I gotta
all this
try
was
and
built.
test.
And so one of the things I do for them is I tell them who's coming on before they get here, and I let them, comment and a bunch of questions, and then I pick one to ask. So this is from Will on Patreon.
I didn't even notice Sean still had his hair going, man. He's been doing this for a long time, and he built his stuff over time, but it's cool. I didn't realize his hair.
To you, he says, I know his company does a lot for Gold Star families, and I'm sure he's experienced his fair share of losing friends, either through physical or mental combat. Would he be willing to give any advice on how he deals with these feelings?
Great question. Whoever wrote that on Sean Ryan's Patreon, you are a real one.
that's the first one?
That's the only one I'm going to give you.
Thank you, Kelly.
So no softballs. Okay. How I deal with it personally?
Yeah. We get a lot of questions on how to deal with loss. And
So the reason why we're watching this is I do too, constantly. One of the questions is, how do you deal with this loss at such a high clip? The only way I can explain it to you, and in no way, shape, or form am I trying to be corny when I say this, but only people who have loved ones in combat, or like something, lose all their, like, not even loved ones, but people they love in a short amount of time, like, it's just not normal. So I've always understood a little bit more of like the trauma of losing someone you love in a very short amount of time, very quickly. And so that's why I've always identified a lot with the military guys.
I've done some videos on it, and it's just, everybody's always curious, how guys like me or you and our colleagues deal with that, get through it.
Each one's different. For me, for the longest time, I just ignored and override. I just compartmentalized everything. Didn't happen to me. It's not me. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's easier just to not accept it to be reality. When you do a dangerous job long enough, it'll eventually get you.
Yeah.
Unless you're fortunate enough to retire, you can't let that be your defining moment. Almost like you're waiting for it to happen. The Gold Star thing happens. You do a dangerous job. Firemen, police, military, doesn't matter. We all have our Gold Star community. People that die in the line of service. And for me, it's a show their loyalty. Like, want to see how far they'll go. They just showed you. They just went the whole way. Like, what an honor to be part of that organization where people will give up their lives for people they've never even met. Like, that's my process now. When I see it, I see the families, it hurts.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point. These guys, when they go out there, like exactly like what you just said, when they go out there and they do this job, they're really putting themselves through a kind of trauma that not many will understand. And so there's not really a lot of guys who can come home and then have this conversation. Trust me, or what we're getting into it. We're just at the beginning here.
Yeah.
There's so many dudes I miss. You're at Harris Teeter buying groceries, and I look over and there's a whole family.
Damn.
Yeah, the two platoons with their husband. What are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Go and give them a hug and pretend like it's okay. It's not okay. But they did exactly what they wanted to do.
Yep.
At that moment, like, he was right where he wanted to be, surrounded with the best people on earth, dudes he loved, dudes he would have gladly died for. And they got the opportunity to show how committed they were to the cause. So I honor their sacrifice now. It took me a long time to get there, but that's what I do now. I just honor them.
Good for you, man. That's a great answer. You know, I think a lot of people experience loss, and one thing I always tell them is, you know, you have to, you know, it's good to mourn, but you got to think of how that person would want you to live, you know, and I don't think that anybody that I know, and I'm sure anybody that you know, wants you moping around for the rest of your life because they died doing what they want to do. And so it's always good to keep that in mind.
I just want to highlight that moment. Something we've hit on this channel really hard is, remember, when you lose someone, part of it is not to, you know, they might say it a little bit differently than I do, but it's the graveyard thing that I told you guys. You can't live in the graveyard with the people you've lost, you know? I feel like you have to, you know, understand that they're gone, and once you realize they're gone, your life has to continue at some point. And that's a hard thing, because I told you it comes with that guilt of, well, I can't just move on. How could I just move on? Like, there's no way I can move on. But moving on doesn't mean you just forget and go, right? That's not what we're talking about here. It's not forgetting the people you love, but it is a point of, I'm not going to continue to live in a graveyard. And I always want to remind you guys of that. I'm probably going to, you know what? We're going to make a shirt. No more graveyard. We're going to make a shirt about
it. But, well, great answer. So let's get on with it. So we're going to just start with childhood and go down a timeline of kind of your
what's going on
all the way up until now. But you've been surrounded by the SEAL teams your entire life. You're born into it. Your dad was a SEAL. Several family members of yours are SEALs. And then you wound up joining at a very young age. But let's just start right at the very beginning with some of the childhood stuff. What was it like, you know, growing up with your dad being an operational SEAL, going on deployments all the time, and that's a very high standard to live up to as a kid. So
I want to get this real quick. I love that Sean takes people back to their childhood all the way up through their life.
Let's start there.
So yeah, when my dad graduated BUD/S, my mom was 6 months pregnant. So he checked in Team 1, she gave birth to me, and I essentially grew up in a platoon hut. He was the only guy who had a kid at the time. So basically got raised by wolves, which was cool. We transitioned, we moved over to the East Coast in like 89, like I was young for. I don't remember anything. Started up school, typical stuff, but he was gone the entire time. So from the time he went to the East Coast, I forget what the rotations were back then. I mean, they were 6-8 month deployments, and he did 8 of them back to back. So, I mean, he was gone.
Yeah.
Gone 200, 300 days out of the year. I mean, you remember the workup schedule. Gone a lot. Grew up on a small farm, 5 acres, but God, man, we had everything. Chickens, ducks, geese, guinea hens, pheasants, quail, raised Chesapeake Bay retrievers, cows, horses, everything. And I had to take care of it all. Slopping hogs at 5 a.m. Hot water heater blows out, pipes freeze, like the whole thing. And it's like, I remember doing that my entire life, just dealing with the farm life. And then he'd come back home.
That farm life is different. I've never lived on a farm, but when I worked, my boss had a farm, and we'd help him with his stuff, and you know, just a small portion of doing farm work. It is constant, and it teaches you a lot. So if you live there, there's a lot of life lessons if you grew up on a farm, for sure.
We go hunting, and it was like, now looking back on it's kind of surreal. It was awesome. It was great. Like, your dad's Superman. Like,
yeah.
How fucking cool is that? But back in the 90s, like, you remember, nobody knew what a Navy SEAL was. No one.
He tiptoed
so,
on the light.
Like, my dad was in the Navy.
That.
Your dad's in the Army. It doesn't really matter. Nobody gets it. As we started coming up, you know, Charlie Sheen, that whole thing, like, people started to know, but nobody really knew. There wasn't a war going on. It was 80s and 90s, small little skirmishes, but losing people in combat wasn't a thing. We never had to live through it. It didn't happen. It'd be a training accident every now and then, and that was it. So yeah, kind of went through that whole thing, found my outlets, because I spent a lot of time alone. You know, me and my mom, had my sister growing up, and
your sister older or younger?
Younger. 5 years.
Love that. Love that.
So yeah, it was kind of just the 3 of us living on that farm, making things happen. He'd come back home and gear up for another deployment. And we kind of just picked up where we left off. But, But it was weird. Like people who aren't in the special operations community or don't know anybody like that, they think when your dad's in the military, it's, I don't know, like Denny Highway, like flat top haircuts and yes sir, no sir.
There she is.
My dad treated me like I was a new guy.
Really?
How you
Yeah,
doing?
like we were best friends. We were like that's who I wanted to be.
Well, at what point did you know you wanted to become a team guy?
It was always just assumed. It was always said. Like we were always doing something. Like when I'd have friends come over and stay the night, we wouldn't do typical things. We'd do a physical challenge. So we would run out, we'd pick up 10 logs, we'd throw it over here, we'd run back 10 push-ups, do 5 pull-ups, run over here. We'd do like an O course, like a circuit. And if I didn't win, like, I better win. It was one of those things. So it was always kind of assumed. And then when I hit skateboarding,
Isn't it crazy how certain people end up in certain professions because who they were as like children? Like some people are just made to be in certain professions. Like you're just built that way. A lot of people who are really high level athletes become really good, speakers. I mean, speaking is kind of one of those things where it's really hard. It's a very small percentage of people who are really great speakers. But, like a lot of SEALs that you'll see, they become like motivational speakers. They go talk to NFL teams, NBA teams. Like they talk about the way that team works, the way that mentality works, and they bring that to, normal society. So it's really interesting because some people are just built a certain way. I always wanted to be in the military. I was not, I have always had a deep level of respect for these men. And a big part of my life, I wanted to do it. And, it's one of those things where you just kind of understand the intangible person that they are. Cause a lot of them, are like guys who could easily be athletes. And they just go a different way.
all I wanted to do. I was addicted, man. I bought in hook, line, and sinker. I lived out in the middle of nowhere in Chesapeake, Virginia. And we had a little cul-de-sac next door, some older kids skating. I kind of got in that. And when he would leave on deployment, I'd have 6 months of no interruptions. I'd knock out chores and straight over there. And that's all I did all day. I obsessed.
Damn.
Started competing, and that's what I wanted to do.
You started competing?
Yeah.
What, like the half pipe and shit?
No, I
like
did
that?
street. He built me a big vert ramp in the backyard, so we did the whole thing. Rode it all, but I really like street park. And that was kind of the punishment. I'd get hurt. They'd be like, you broke your arm. They're not going to let you in the Navy. You can't be a SEAL. If you get a plate and screws, they're not going to take you. You're going to ruin your entire life over riding a skateboard.
No shit. So it really was just assumed you're going to be a fucking team guy.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't know any better. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, maybe like middle school. I remember talking to my mom one day, and I was like, would Dad be upset if I became a veterinarian? Because I love animals. I do. I really like dogs. Like kind of a weird obsession, but a healthy one. I like dogs more than people, and I wanted to be a vet. And it was kind of just pushed off. Like, why would you want to be a vet when you can be a Navy SEAL? True. There we went. So quickly dismissed. Can't be a professional skateboarder. You can't be a veterinarian. You can be a Navy SEAL. Some things kind of fell into place that forced it hand a little sooner than probably it should have.
Yeah. You talk about being addicted to the pressure to perform during your childhood, and then you kind of talk about it again later on, and I think when you got to Dev Group. But what were you addicted to performing to when you were a kid? What pressure? Was it to your dad?
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of pressure, but for me, I wanted praise. And this long analogy I get into where I equate everybody to a certain type of dog, that dog's upbringing. And I'm a Labrador. I am. I just want to people please. Just bounce a tennis ball on the ground and let me go chase it. I'll do whatever you want to. Just pat me on the head at the end of the day.
I mean, literally, how many people would actually tell you that that's how they function? Very few people are open enough to admit that that's where they were. They realize and can also put it into words that what they wanted was to people please. I obviously had the same performance issue. I realized that my whole life I was trying to be something that especially like my mom, to be proud of. I wanted to be a really, good athlete so I could go and then I could, perform really well at my craft, and then I could go and I could make money, and then I could be that guy that like buys his parents a house, or you know what I mean? Like I just wanted to be somebody that they could be proud of. And that's that performance. It's a performance that you want to do. So that comes from a place of honestly the opposite. You're not getting anything you need as a kid. And so instead of being filled and loved for who you are, you think that your job is to perform to get what you need. And so it's just a good reminder that this starts very early on. And, you know, being ultra competitive in this way where you're doing it so you get recognition and you can have people be proud of you definitely can come from a wound of, you know, when you're a kid, not being loved for who you are, thinking that performance equals love. We never want to be those type of people to think that a performance is the only way you'll get loved. Love that, Amber. That's awesome.
And that's all I wanted. I just wanted him to acknowledge me. That's all I
There it
wanted.
is. Just acknowledgement.
It's like, I'm not good in school. Like, we go out and we hunt and I shoot everything. Like, I get a good boy doing that, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't. I did it because it was a thing to do with him. I didn't care what we did. If that dude would have been a fly fisherman, I'd be fly fishing. Like, I didn't care. I just wanted to be next to him. But I didn't enjoy hunting. I didn't set him a deer stand. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I shot him.
So he didn't even like hunting. He just did it because his dad wanted him to do it. Amy says, this is a really great interview so far, or good interview. I've always been more open. People just didn't listen. And it makes me happy to hear men open up like this. I think that's what's so beautiful about it. You know, this is why I told you guys in the thumbnail, this is seriously, like, this is a groundbreaking kind of interview. Because you can hear DJ's really good at articulating himself and his feelings. And that's a hard thing across the board in general. Strawberry Wine says, love you and your fam. We love you too. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Acknowledgement is on a base level all. Well, and you know what? I think we're created to be loved. We're creatures of community. We need community. And this is the most isolated time in history where our phones are causing a lot of separation. And then you had what happened with all of 2020 after, you know, COVID happened, people kind of isolated and then never really came back. And so it's like, that's why we talk about on here, we're connecting, we're talking, we're all adding into this conversation.
Duck hunting, snow goose hunting, I had a blast. But if you ask me what I want to do at 4:30 in the morning, it wasn't go shoot snow geese. Not back then. I wish he just would have wanted to do anything. So,
yeah.
But the pressure to perform, everything became a competition. And then I just started competing at everything. Not good things.
Yeah.
You know, doing young childhood stuff. But, yeah.
So you joined at 17 years old.
Yeah, I got into a little bit of trouble when I was 16. And long story short, I had to go to court, and the old man threw me at the mercy of the court and said, Your Honor, he can't be charged with this. You know, we have to get this off his record because he's going to go to the Navy and he's going to be a Navy SEAL.
What was it?
It was an assault charge with a robbery.
With a robbery?
Mm-hmm.
What were you? What were you robbing?
Me and a bunch of my buddies got into a fight, and in the course of the fight, reached into somebody's jacket and grabbed their phone and spiked it on the ground. And because of the dollar amount associated, because it was a physical altercation, it became robbery, and his parents wanted to press charges, make a big deal. At the end of the day, we bought him a cell phone, and it got expunged off my record. I mean, it came up years later, but yeah. And so I had to get a waiver for that. I had to get an age waiver, underage possession of tobacco. So I had a bunch of waivers going in.
Let me answer Katrina real quick. Why this story, Colby? There are people on the other side. For example, me, I am from Serbia, and the USA NATO bombed my country, my town in 1999. I am not a villain, nor the kids that died, which are called collateral damage. So Katrina, just so you know, that the whole point of this whole entire interview is what Sean's doing and what DJ's doing is they are talking about being a human being that has gone through a lot of different things. And what DJ ends up talking about here, right, is that DJ ends up having a way of explaining his art and articulating his feelings. And I understand where you're coming from, but also understand that this is more about the emotional breakthrough that comes with recognizing your feelings and how you operate. And somebody who we know did something like serve in a very high level military situation where literal trauma happens. And this happens all over the world, no matter what military it is. But what happens is when someone can come back from that kind of life, and you'll see, because it's a very long interview, that kind of life brings in a whole lot of experiences. And honestly, having a conversation about somebody who understands what they did in their life and how to articulate that is why we're watching this. It's very groundbreaking because DJ just knows how to speak his feelings and put them into words, and he understands himself, and he understands where he was wrong, and he shows you that you can be this far over and change. So I'm excited to continue to show you that.
Which wasn't good. Didn't really help my case, and the judge looked at me and deal, community service, and let me leave. And I didn't realize at the time, but he had already gone to school and talked to my guidance counselors, all my principals, and had signed me up for summer school. So that was my sophomore year going into my junior year, and had already signed me up. So the end of my junior year, I graduate, or we finish that year in June, and I basically do summer school until August.
Christine, what's up?
I'm gone. Already had me signed up for delayed entry program, everything. Like, I was going to the Navy.
Damn.
Like, there wasn't any doubt about it.
Yeah.
No SEAL contract, no A school.
Nothing.
Undesignated, send it.
So how the hell did you get to Buds then if there was no contract?
I passed the screen test at boot camp.
That's it?
I didn't realize how dangerous a maneuver that was. Like, my entire career, for the people that don't know, if you don't have a SEAL contract, I tell people, do not go to MEVS. Do not sign that contract, because now they own you.
Yeah.
And they do. If I would have gotten sick, if the whole class would have gotten the flu, and they just don't give you the screen test, I'm going to the fleet for 4 years. Like, that's a long way to get back from.
Yeah.
No A school, so if I didn't make it through Buds, I was going to be a deck seaman, be a bosun's mate. I didn't get in it. I already had a trident. I didn't have a rating.
Damn.
Yeah.
So just for the audience, they don't know what the hell an A school is. An A school, basically,
I love how Sean always breaks down what we don't understand when it comes to military conversations.
It's almost a marketing play of the teams. Like, they need SEALs, but so many people quit that what they do is they find all the jobs in the Navy that have a shortage. Most of them are the ones you have to be either really intelligent to get into, or the complete shit jobs. And it's kind of a mixed bag of nuts there. You pick one, you go through the training, you go to Buds, whatever, 85% of people quit, and then they fill those jobs.
We're at 1.25.
So
just a little
so
bit.
You didn't have any A school. You went right from boot camp to Buds. 317 when you got to Buds. No shit.
Yeah, he was getting ready to retire. So the way we did it is he retired, I think on the same day that I became active. We did 1-for-1 swap. We had the exact same name. He's a junior on the 3rd, and we just swapped him. So he pulled strings.
We'll get used to the speed. Do you remember when we sped up the trials, and by the time I got back to normal speed, it felt like slow motion? It was insane.
We did boot camp.
It is a long one,
so I was a white shirt, little scruff rollback waiting for my Buds class.
Yeah.
Did that for 3 months and flew out to California with a sea bag and sent it. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a driver's license the entire time I was back. I didn't have anything. Like, I didn't know anything. Like, my senior year, I was in Buds. I knew nothing. I didn't know anything. I didn't have a cell phone. I had nothing. I just sent it.
So you grew up in the teams.
Yeah. No, he take me on training trips. It was a blast. I got to AP Hill for the demo courses, and a bunch of the guys I worked with later in the teams. I remember when they were new guys. They remember me.
Quick.
Damn, that's crazy.
Being out there taking a skateboard out of AP Hill and doing kickflips over cases of beer for the guys, and yeah, man. Oh, dude, like, we did the whole thing. I'm like, my childhood was fucking awesome. It was. Like, growing up in the teams, it was cool. But my entire time, because I never saw the reality of war, I thought Buds was, that's what we were doing for a career. Because you go to Team 2 back in the day, the Rudy Bosch eras, and they do log PT, buddy carry ruck runs and all kinds of weird shit. Like, it was miserable. Like, the PT 2-mile ocean swims every week, like, it looked like it just continued. So when we went to Buds, I was too young to be in good shape. I was in good enough shape, and I was just too dumb to quit. I didn't know any better. Like, when people would quit on the very first day, I couldn't get it through my mind. Like, this isn't going to stop anytime soon, boys. And
you guys want to run it at 1.25 or 1.5? Just put it in the chat if you want to change it.
It confirmed my biases when I'd look down the beach and see SEAL Team 1 doing log PT. Like, yeah, dude, they're paying us to work out. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, I didn't care. I was superhuman. Like, the whole chafing thing, I didn't get it.
Didn't bother you?
No, nothing. When I graduated Hell Week, my dad was, he was contracting then. My mom flew out to pick me up, and she was having me take pictures. There's a famous photo. They've got that Buds class book they did. The only easy day was yesterday. That's on my Buds class. You can see a bunch of pictures of me in there. And my mom came to pick me up. We had to spend 24 hours in the barracks, and then you could go out in town and do whatever. My mom wanted to take a bunch of photos, do all this, and I missed the bus back to the barracks, like that 500 yards. And I sprinted the whole way back there barefoot.
If we need to speed it up, we will.
Went back to my room and checked in.
I like it a little slower. I like to hear
it. It was probably 8 a.m. the next morning. Mom took out a bunch of the boys out for Marie Callender's breakfast, did the whole thing, the whole den mother, and then made me go run the O course so she could take pictures of my dad.
No shit.
Yeah, man. Went out and ran a full O course.
When you got to Buds, I mean, probably everybody over there knew your dad, right?
A bunch of the cadre did. I guess kind of my quasi-godfather was the XO at Group 1 at the time. So he picked me up and actually walked me through the quarterdeck, and it started. A bunch of the guys were old Team 2 dudes. So they already know.
Full benefit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Full Benny.
How about everybody around you? Were they getting full benefit because of you too?
Yeah, yeah, they did, but a lot of it was just isolation, which is fine.
Yeah.
How many times? How many
So
guys?
DJ, it sounds like DJ rolls like this without breaking as much. And so his 1.5, and then Sean sounds kind of normal, but DJ just talks faster.
You start with, you remember?
I'll mess the number up. I mean, I thought it was in 200s. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a ton. I started with 246 and I got rolled, graduated with 247, and I think 20 originals, something like that. It wasn't many.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you had to pick one portion of buds, what was your hardest? What was it?
Second phase, pool comp.
Pool comp?
I got rolled for that. Just bad advice.
Yeah.
Bad advice. I mean, when you do it, you have to do a bunch of sequences. You know, they hit you with the whammy knot, they do the whole thing. It's a whole series of procedures you have to do exactly correct. And the advice that I was given was they just want to see you not panic. They want to see you calm, cool, and collected. Don't get wrapped over the procedures. Just show them they are not going to rattle you. Done. And I went down, they smashed me, and I didn't do basically any of those procedures. They completely flustered me, and I did everything I could do, and then I came up, fail. Ooh, there's one. Same thing happened again. It was the final check was a J-valve flick. That was the final thing, and I kept missing it. I was just overcome by events. I let them rattle my cage, and they did.
Yeah.
Got rolled back the next year, or the next class.
Crazy, man.
A couple weeks. But it was what I needed. I needed it.
So you graduate and you head over to Team 10.
Yep. We
I don't think people understand. I'm gonna look this up. We have to see is the graduating percentage of butts. I want to know that. I think it's like what's the percentage? What? There you go. I don't want a bunch of forms. I don't know what the percentage is. All I know is it's freaking high. It's low. I mean, it's such a low number of people who specifically actually make it.
finished up buds. We all went out to Kodiak, Alaska for winter warfare training. And at the very end of that, they asked for 10 volunteers to deploy early with Team 10. There's a weird cycle. Everybody's getting kind of mixed up and they needed people to go right now. I think they were giving guys a month off in between getting your trident and checking into the team. So guys wanted to go home. They wanted to see wives and see moms and all that stuff. And nope. It's under 19 years old, hand rocketed into the air as fast as it could.
No shit. So they had to,
Everybody.
They had to make a decision.
Everybody. We had so Cole, he had orders to Team 1. We already knew we were going. He had orders to Team 1. He traded in the middle of our class to go to Team 10. He was from Virginia Beach and he was big into surfing and he wanted to stay out there. And I guess he wanted to break up the bromance.
Glad
So,
to have you here.
yeah, he swapped right there.
No shit.
Yeah, we drove straight across.
How did
checked
they
in.
pick the 10 guys?
Volunteer.
So there was only 10 volunteers.
They needed 10 people and yeah, 10 people
Okay.
volunteered.
Did you know you were going to war?
Oh yeah, for sure.
They told you.
Yeah. I mean, there was no, at Team 10, they weren't doing a Yukon rotation anymore.
Yeah.
There was it was men manning. I think we only had 2 groups. We had one going to Afghanistan and one going to Iraq. And that's
So-
what we knew.
Yeah.
So yeah.
People who actually make it through, graduate, and become SEALs is the 20 to 35% of all. And I think there's a big class that goes in to each training cycle to become a SEAL. And only 20 to 35% at the absolute most make it. So most people don't even make it through buds. And then you have a phase after buds as well. And so it's you guys look up Navy SEAL training. We could watch it together. It's brutal. It's another level of mental fortitude because you're past the physical fortitude. It is now mental. And I think people underestimate what your mind can do because it is not an easy task.
Well, before we get into that deployment, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll pick up there.
Cool.
What's going on, Patreon?
All right, so we're back. You just graduated SQT. You volunteered to go to war, show up to Team 10, and you're 19 years old on your first deployment to Iraq.
19.
How was
bro.
that?
So that's exactly when I was about to go in. So I actually was 17 when I tried to join the military. I wanted to go into then the Navy, and I wanted to be a SEAL. So I went to the Navy recruiter. I had three things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be an Air Force pilot. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. And then what was the other thing? I forgot exactly what it was. But it's crazy. I went to the Navy recruiter and took my ASVAB at 17. And so I didn't pass my ASVAB. I think I failed my math probably because I'm really bad at math. And so I went back and I talked to the Marines, but the Marines was a little bit more like you're going to be infantry, and so was Army. So I talked to Army, Marines, and Navy. I never ended up going through the Air Force. I took my ASVAB twice, and I almost joined the Army. I was the closest to joining the Army, but I was actually too tall and got disqualified for multiple jobs off of how tall I was. And so there was only 3 jobs I could have chose. And at that point, I wanted to be an athlete still. So I thought I'd go for it when I was still young. So I was between 18 to 19. By 20, I ended up working really hard to get a scholarship and play college basketball. And then right after that, I met Kelsey. Well, I had known Kelsey, but we actually got to be together. But I mean, I was really close to being in the military. Like I could have just signed right there, signed a contract and been in the military.
Humbling.
Yeah. Was there any, before we get into that, did you have any time with your platoon before you went out the door, or did you just show up and it's like, hey, guess what? I graduated early.
I literally got DQ'd
and
for multiple jobs for being too tall. Yes. I'm not kidding.
Heading out the door with you tomorrow.
We showed up in, don't quote me exactly, I think we showed up in August, and we deployed in March.
I swear you're either good at, like everyone who's bad at one subject is always good at other subjects, right? Like you just have that thing. It's so funny. It's like people are always better. I'm like better with English reading. My reading comprehension is the highest I've ever scored on anything.
A little bit, a couple months. We got through the major blocks. We got CQB, land warfare.
Thank you, Tess.
Missed all the pro dev, so wasn't one of the guys went to sniper school or any of that as new guys, so no new guy schools at all. They gave us hazmat demo driver, which I couldn't do because I didn't have a driver's license. You had to be 25, so I couldn't do that. I couldn't get a rental car. Yeah, it was basically just I was like the lowest life form on earth. But yeah. we had 9 new guys and 9 old guys, so it was good, man. The mesh was good. The learning curve was high. The standard in that platoon was extremely high, but it should have been. I'm glad it was now. I didn't understand at the time. I thought they were being dicks.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
But if I could have done it all over again, I wish I would have paid attention more. A lot of that resistance came.
You know what? I am going to say my beef with math real quick. Once they added letters into math and you're trying to ask me why 7 goes into X, get the frick out of here.
From feeling like I was already part of it because I'd been born into it. So it was hard for me to let go of. You know, a little bit of arrogance, I'm sure. The fact that I knew everybody, like I already know them. Like the CMC was my dad's best friend. I've known him my entire life.
Damn.
So it's weird to see him in the hallway like, hey, Master Chief. Didn't see him on the weekend.
Sick at math?
Hey, Master Chief. You know what I mean?
What was your dad thinking? What was his reaction that you were going to war right off the bat, 19?
I mean, he was happy for me.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was pretty stoked about it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean...
That's an interesting thing. I don't think I'd be stoked for my son to go to war. And that's the thing that's hard. Like when you have to understand, it's a hard thing to realize that you want the best for your kid, but you know, military is just different. It's just a whole nother level of difference for everybody who is in the military, who does service jobs like that, right? Like where they're literally frontline people, you know, it's next level.
You could tell he was nervous. You could tell my mom was really nervous. I mean, Iraq in 2004 or 5, being shot never entered my mind. Like, Navy SEALs hadn't been shot.
Oh,
it's not a thing. Like, we're good. It happened sporadically. Nobody's died yet. Not in Iraq. It was the IDs we were worried about.
You know, okay, I'm sorry. I have another tangent that I want to talk about real quick. I just hate the way that we are societally built to believe that you're good at something, because after I left school, I became so much quicker and easier at math. Like I learned math quickly. Like I couldn't even subtract or add in my head very quickly. If someone asked me like, quick, do this thing, I couldn't, like, I would just freeze. And I think it was from years and years and years of like freezing in school. And so I just hope people understand, everybody learns differently. And just because you're not good in a certain environment, that doesn't mean you can't learn it and you can't, progress. But I hate that we're just kind of stuck into certain molds because some kids just don't learn the same, kids just don't learn the same.
They were hitting them all day, every day. So when we got there, I mean, that was pretty surreal, like flying in, take off 19 years old and, you're on the C-17, getting ready to land, and people start, 2 hours out, they're breaking the no vans, body armor, helmet, nods, loading guns. I've never deployed before. Apparently this is completely normal. Like we landed like we were going to be under fire the entire time. Like you had no idea. And now that you've deployed, you open it up and there's a guy with a flatbed pulling off ISU 90s. Like I thought we would be shot down. Like the way they were flying in, it was crazy. Everybody's getting sick. Just
Barbara,
it was early in the war. It was a different environment. No one had any real combat experience.
Yeah.
Even the older guys in the platoon had been to Afghanistan, but it was more of the presence patrols. It wasn't sustained combat. They hadn't had it before. So we were all kind of new guys together.
Where were you guys?
Baghdad.
Baghdad?
Yeah. So we split. We did PSD for a little bit, and then we do 2 weeks of that. So doing the all the dignitaries in Iraq.
Real quick, PSD's personal security detail. So a lot of teams were doing that for the Iraqi government officials.
Yeah, it was a way to stay busy, way to be employed. Like, hey, if they have to put us here for this, maybe they'll let us do DAs too. So we had a strike force set up.
So understand, 19 years old in a war zone. A lot of the SEAL operations that I've heard, they basically go in at night. Nods are your helmet that you put your night vision goggles on. So it's pitch black. You're talking about breaching, entering, and taking people out. I mean, it's crazy. Like you go from a normal life here to another place and you're doing that. Like it's another level of crazy that this happens.
And because I was so young, I mean, a lot of the new guys got pushed over to the strike force. Like they didn't want a 19-year-old kid standing in front of CNN, driving around the president of Iraq or whatever else we were doing. So I was lucky in that sense. I got to go over with, we did weird conglomerate with Team 10 and Team 4 from the East Coast. We all deployed together in the same compound. And I think we had 5 and 7, the same thing. So we were just overflowed with people. So we got to work with everybody. It was pretty cool.
So what were you guys doing then if you weren't on the PSD team?
Doing raids.
Raids?
Yep.
Crazy.
How many raids were you doing?
A couple a week.
Couple a week.
Yeah. 4 or 5, like staying busy. They,
Nikki,
but they were all mobility packages. And we'd pull out of that base and there was no armor. There was no armor and turret gunner. So I'd rock the 50 up front. And it was bad, man. Like you just see the rubble on the side of the road, expecting to hit one, you just wouldn't. And we make it through and you come back and you're like, okay, gotta get some pancakes. Here we go, gotta make it back. We drive back and nothing would happen. You're like, every day was a breath hold, just waiting to get hit. And you'd hear it. The SIG acts would get reported, all the significant activity, all the IDs that were hit the day before. And it's the same route in and out. You have to drive there to start everything. It's like,
I know, right?
Marine convoy here, Army convoy there, 10 people killed here. God. Like,
this
when
is
is this
one of the best interviews he has, though, for real.
Happen? And because a curfew was so strict that time, you never saw anybody. We didn't do anything during the day. So at night, I mean, I didn't see an Iraqi, an actual local, for months.
No shit.
No, not until we started doing DAs. We just didn't. It'd be a couple dry holes, and you're like, are there people in this country? Like, where are they? The curfew was so stringent right then. Wow. You didn't see them. And then all of a sudden,
you know
got
what's
on good
so
targets.
crazy, man? I'm sure I know a lot of us are from all over the world, and it's a good perspective for us to have because every country is very different. And like we had our chat earlier, I mean, when Katrina brought that up, it's kind of different because everyone has different perspectives and different experiences. And what brings us all together is the fact that we are all human beings. And, that's kind of what we always try to focus on here is like, it's about like each side's going through different things. You can go back and forth, but sometimes you have to strip things down back to the base of what's going on. And for our military, like this is hard stuff. These are young men who are going out and basically going to war for us. It's crazy.
But now there's a bunch of people out and I'm like, oh, okay, this is it. It's weird, man. Like Iraq was a weird animal, especially then being so young, just not really knowing.
Yeah.
Like the training, I felt the training was good, but the mindset wasn't. Like I had no idea mentally how to prepare for that. I just didn't. It was like we're doing land warfare in Arkansas.
Yes,
I don't know what that
Penny
has to
is
do
the
with
second one we might end up watching. It's a very long one, but it's a very, very good one.
driving around Iraq right now. Like, yeah, I'm really good at running a saw on a 60, like, but we're gonna get blown up right now.
Yeah.
I mean, target discrimination. I mean, you'd see people on the rooftop, ski masks, carrying dishes, or PKs, whatever. Are they good? Are they bad? Are we gonna shoot these people? Like, don't fire until you're fired upon, and they wouldn't shoot at you. Are they good? He's like, sometimes it's neighborhood watch. That's a lot of pressure on a 19-year-old kid to not shoot a dude with a PK. Like, you want me to wait until he shoots me? That's kind of a weird thing to say. But,
Damn.
no.
Well, then, how far? So
we
you're in the first deployment, and the biggest loss in SEAL team history happens.
Yeah, man. So we're in the compound. Everybody was there. 410, 5-7, we're all in there. We've got the centralized jock, and new guys never came to the jock. We just didn't. You stayed out of it. We stayed in our own little bat cave doing new guy stuff. But I remember I was walking back in the gym one night, and the double doors open, and it was a huge TV screens, typical jock, cinematic screens all over the place. And this frantic O stuck his head out and grabbed me. He goes, "Are you at SEAL Team 10?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Go get you OIC right now." And I looked over his shoulder, and I saw what looked to be the side of a mountain and a big smoldering thing sitting on it. And I ran back out there, and I grabbed him as fast as I could and told everybody. All the new guys stayed put, and all the old guys ran into the jock. And it only took a couple minutes, and you could hear it. You could hear grown men wailing. And they knew. I got goosebumps thinking about it. Fuck, man. You didn't know. So I was supposed to be in Echo Platoon. I was. And my LPO of Golf Platoon pulled me out because he knew my dad. So I was supposed to be in Afghanistan, and now I'm in Iraq. But all of our best friends that volunteered all went to Echo Platoon. And Echo Platoon is on deployment in Afghanistan. So I think all of our best friends are dead. We think everybody's on the same bird, and they're all dead right now. And we hear nothing for like 2 weeks.
You didn't hear anything for 2 fucking weeks?
Nothing. Everything converged in Afghanistan, and they put us on
I
River
think
City.
one thing we
got
always
nothing.
have to remember, dang it. One thing we always have to remember is how hard it is. Like, you're losing people you love, you're getting to know, you're serving with, and they're losing your friends all the time. You have the threat of dying all the time. And that is another level of fight or flight, because you're there to fight. But it's another level of trauma to think every single moment of every day, I am at risk at being killed. I'm in a war zone. It's just another level of trauma.
I saw pictures of dead guys in the gym when it came out in Navy times.
Damn.
We didn't know anything. We didn't have email accounts back then. Like it wasn't like you were on some secure access. Like you didn't get anything. They shut down the phones, and when the CMC finally came in, he briefed on the entire thing, and they broad brushed the actual ground element. I didn't find out about Marcus Luttrell and all of those people for months later. I'd never heard the story. He was so overtaken by the helo going down that Marcus who? Like I had no idea. Never even heard that story. He came in, and I remember asking him. Everybody walked away, and I grabbed him. I was like, "Are any new guys dead?" He said, "Nope." And it was a sigh of relief, selfishly, because the new guys are who I knew. And then I thought, oh fuck, all of that experience is gone right now. He didn't have a total. He just said no new guys, but you knew it was an entire bird full. Like you knew that. It's like now the names started to come out. And I remember they set us all down. We were sitting down outside of a bunch of trailers, big gravel, big fire pit, and we put up the Proximo, like typical team guy shit. And they're playing the memorial service they shot at Little Creek. They're playing it for everybody. And you see Seth Lucas come in the frame, they pin his old man's award on him, and I'm fucking bawling my eyes out, and it keeps going.
Man. So it's a moment notice that they're gone. And you're there, you sign up for it, but it's not going to change how hard it is.
Through and through. And it gets to a point, Pathy gets up and speaks on Danny's behalf. And I remember I said it, what the fuck is an SDV2 guy doing there? And then SDV1, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, no one knew. No one said anything, at least not at that time. It didn't make any sense to us. Are they just augments? Or they're just assisting Echo. We had no idea it was a QRF. At least I didn't, for a long time. And then it started to come out about the lone survivor and everything else, and we started to piece the story back together. But until I was back at stateside, mid-second deployment, or mid-second workup, 2006, I finally heard the story from someone who was there. I had no idea.
Crazy.
That helo was the only thing that mattered. Like that was our entire world.
Did that, because we were right around the same age that time, and I was in too. And did that hit you? Like, did the magnitude of what happened actually hit you being that young?
Nope.
And you didn't know anybody? You know, you didn't know those guys. I didn't know them either.
No.
It didn't hit me.
No, the old guys I didn't know. I mean, you knew some of them. Got really tight with their wives afterwards, all the kids, obviously. But no, like, they were, you were platoon chief, echo platoon. I don't know you.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Here's what I want to hit on too, right? Like those are all fathers and husbands, and next thing you know, there's multiple fathers and husbands gone and families left, and a lot of them live on the base or live within a community because obviously the husbands are out at war, and so they're gone a lot, and so there's a big community of rallying, and all the time that your life's at risk. But next thing you know, there's just a bunch of fatherless kids, and wives have lost their husbands, and it's just an instant. Just you really realize how heavy this is. This is their real normal life.
Echo platoon. Known from reputation, stuff like that. But at that time, there's no way you could understand the magnitude of what that did to the community.
Yeah.
You talk about a dose of reality. That's reality. Like, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, these people are actively trying to kill you. It's like to me, it wasn't real yet. It was like a cowardice thing. Like, oh yeah, they playing IEDs, like this and that. But team guys weren't getting shot. Like, they weren't dying. Like, had a couple random ones, but not like that. Not like that.
Yeah.
It's like SEALs don't die like that. Like, you can't just take out that many. It's not a thing. So yeah, heavy dose of reality on the way back. But yeah, the magnitude wasn't probably until extortion, actually.
No shit.
Yeah.
That long.
Yeah.
It didn't hit me until we relieved those guys over there, and it didn't really sink in until we started seeing some of the intel reports, and I remember I was with a good friend of mine sitting next to him, and they were showing deets on there, and he just started fucking crying, and they were stripping his clothes off, and he was like, I remember when he got that fucking tattoo on his rib cage, and I was like, oh shit, this is fucking the real deal. But
so really, it's about how do you deal with loss? How do these guys deal with the loss? Because by probably the next couple of days, within a very short amount of time, you still have to go out and perform at the highest level, tier 1, highest level possible. And a mistake on your part because you're not showing up emotionally or mentally means life and death. This is what a lot of service members are dealing with. And that goes with people who are serving in the military, who are serving as cops, who are serving as doctors. Like, you understand their own life is happening. They're watching trauma. They're going through trauma from the outside. They have the trauma inside of them, and then they have to constantly perform. It is a hard job, and the military goes through this all the time. These guys put themselves on the line because they're serving our country. They put their literal lives on the line for this. But when you are the one who's left to deal with the trauma, which is the loss, you still have to show up and perform.
Yeah, man, it's a real deal. Like, there's some evil people on this earth, really committed to the cause.
yeah,
I mean, yeah. It's really hard to train for that scenario, though. It's like how good everybody was on that helo. Like, they were all bad motherfuckers, dude. They were awesome. And it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, God, if you just would have let him sit on the ground and then ambushed him, like some coward
You know
shit.
why? And that's the thing. It's survival. So shock and disassociate is exactly right. Your shock is so much, then you kind of almost have to it didn't really happen. Like, you can't accept it, because the only way you can get up tomorrow and have to perform is there's no way this is real life. This is too much. This is too hard. So you kind of just pull away. And we're going to get into kind of what his muses were later in the episode.
yeah,
Like, war's not fair. I think that was a lesson learned out of that. Doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't get the chance to fight, the chance to show how good you are, doesn't matter.
yeah.
No.
We'll take another quick break. When we come back, we'll get into your second deployment.
Cool. When we first flew in there,
There we go. I'm having fun. You guys good? I'm enjoying watching this with you. It's subconscious so much of the time. It's the body surviving. Exactly. Our jobs, though, after all of this stuff, when things settle down, I want us to be the survivor thrivers, the people who thrive after, the people who find their meaning and find a life outside of the trauma. And that's what our whole entire community is built around, is trying to find the life that happens after, not just living in a place of I am traumatized and that's all I am and that's all I have in life. I think back to then when nobody talked about trauma, so they just let it stay in shadows. But the problem with that is it never really goes away until you discuss it. Exactly. That this wasn't a conversation being brought up. It's still not really that huge of a conversation. Yes, there's been some mental health, people who are like celebrities and some people who have come out and talked about mental health, but you have to understand this is very new. Like I know for as the NBA goes, I remember DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love were two people who actually opened up about depression, and people go, well, how can a millionaire basketball player who lives his dream be depressed? And it's always like, bro, it doesn't matter what kind of money you have or what lifestyle you have or what people think is going on in your life. There can be things that are external or internal that's going on with you. And it's just really not fair to judge someone's depression. What I always try to encourage us to do is figure out a way to continue to move forward and then figure out a way to live your life where you're not just depressed all the time, because that's life. And it's like going through this stuff, man. I know it's not easy. All these guys sitting here know it's not easy, but there has to be a life after. So it's figuring out, picking up the pieces. And, that's why I think the kintsugi idea for this channel, why I lean on that so much, is because kintsugi is literally putting something back together with its scars. And that's just like what it's supposed to be. It's a new creation, and you have to figure out a way to do that.
All right, DJ. So we're back from your first deployment, and it's 2007. I think you're 22 years old now, and you're getting ready to go back to Iraq again for a second time. And you found yourself in somewhat of a historic firefight that's
100%.
been talked about a lot. So I'd love to get your take on what happened and how that deployment went.
Yeah, kind of leading up to that, we'll kind of segue back to it. We, on our turnover route, when we first flew in there, so we had our platoon, our sister platoon, and we were relieving SEAL Team 4. So that was Mike Day's platoon. So our turnover route with our sister platoon is when Mike Day's incident happened. He got shot 27 times.
Shit.
That's how we kicked off the deployment.
That's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
27.
So we had one of the guys in the sister platoon got shot, got medically retired, took a crazy round through the arm, and it had a bunch of nerve damage and it balled his hand up. He's out. He was one of our corpsmen too. He's an awesome dude. So we automatically lost him, and we basically just combined forces.
Were you on that operation?
I wasn't. That was our sister platoon, and it was one of the handover ops. So it was Team 4 heavy, and then a little bit of Team 10. The HQ element, a couple of senior guys just to see how he did business. These are what the routes are like. This is what the target set's like. And it just so happened they were going after an AQ cell that had just shot down a Marine helo. So they had all their guns, had their body armor, had helmets, had night vision, had the whole thing.
Fuck.
So
I'm glad to have.
we kind of rode that wave pretty much the whole deployment. It was super busy. A different
I'd love
area.
to highlight something like this. And Sean Ryan, by the way, big shout out again. Sean's very clear. He likes for people to share and move his interviews because he wants people to hear it. And so I don't think he's as strict with like this. Like it's very hard to react to things on YouTube because YouTube's very sensitive and like people copyright claim you. But honestly, even if that is the case, whatever, but like Sean has said, use our clips, just credit us. Like he wants this stuff out there. And I'm glad he does, because that just shows that his heart is about getting these kind of messages out. And so I love that. And this is this is to me the best interview I've ever heard. And I've never seen someone be so vulnerable and really explain their emotions like this. It just doesn't happen. It's very different. So we'll keep going. We got a long way to go, guys.
Working for the West Coast teams. So it was great. We were busy, like super busy. And it felt like how I thought it would feel.
Really?
Yeah.
Like this is what you envisioned when you joined?
Like even some of the animosity stuff, like we'd go to the chow hall and they'd bitch about it because we'd come in wearing tank tops, and now you got to wear, like, even the stuff we would complain about, it made you feel like, I feel like a Navy SEAL now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm in a strike force. Like, this is how it's supposed to feel. Like, we're gelling, we're going out every night. Like, this is what it is. But the reality hasn't set in yet on what we're actually doing.
Well, you see some dark things in life, and it changes your perspective, you know, for the better or for the worse. A lot of people see things and it changes them, and it does. It does. When you see some darkness at a high level, it's hard. It's a very hard thing. It changes your perspective. What's up, Melissa? How are you?
It hasn't happened to you yet, so it's not a real thing.
Yeah.
A couple months into deployment, we're steady, engaging with the enemy. It's fine. And one night we go out and we're in a really bad section.
Where were you guys at?
Just outside of Fallujah, but we were operating in this little town called Karma.
Okay.
And it was good, but a lot of palm groves, a lot of nasty shit out there. We were not trained to do. So kind of come into play later about our inexperience. But one night we do an offset infill. We're patrolling a target, and we get about 200 meters out, and you could see the entire posture shift of everybody in that assault force. Everybody switched. You could smell it. Like, this is a fucking ambush. Like, it just is. Walking down the road, the houses we were walking past, like, you were waiting. It was a breath hold the entire way. And I say that because people started doing things they've never done before. The pace they were moving, we've never moved at that pace before. When we would do patrolling and training, like, there's a lackadaisical patrol and there's a patrol to contact. Like, we're gonna get hit right now. Everybody was in patrol to contact mode. Like, it's happening right now. You're waiting for a trade to throw RD sims and kick the whole thing off. Like, it's right there. And I remember
that's a discussion we'll have to get into at some point. It's very hard because not many people understand it, and that's why I want to bring awareness to it, because it helps us to learn. But we have to understand this. This brings awareness for stuff like this too. We talked about people who go through hard things, and a lot of times we talked about, victims of crimes, but there's all kinds of trauma, right? There's not just crime victim trauma. There's childhood trauma. There's all kinds of things that people have experienced that cause issues in their life, and we're about empowering and moving people forward. So right now where we are going to focus on this kind of trauma, which is very, very high level trauma. And a lot of it is the personal trauma, and then the secondary as well, watching something happen to someone. And so it's definitely something we got to bring to the forefront. Is there's a lot of people who go through this and never say a word, and then end up doing what we've talked about, which is making the ultimate life decision to unalive yourself. So it's happening all the time, and they talk about that in this interview as well.
Sprinting to the building, they had a big overhang, and we've been getting ISR updates. There's multiple guys on the roof. I'm like, okay. So as we patrol up, there's a bunch of guys in the courtyard of this, and it's an Iranian influence cell that we're kind of going after now, and they fight completely different. We lock down some guys on these sleepers on a courtyard, and we maneuver up.
Good to see you, Elizabeth.
Made silent entry. We go in, we're doing our whole clearance, and I bolt straight for the stairs. It's a huge open room. I don't know how to describe it. Just a huge open room with little offshoot bedrooms. Made no sense to be a house. It's like a structure. And they had a 2-tier landing that came up and banged, and then it basically just opened into the roof. Just an opening in the middle of the roof, and you walked up, and you're surrounded 360, 720 by the roof. Stacked up the train, got right there, right at the last little breach of it. So I'm about this high underneath it, and I stood up and threw on my laser, and there was a dude sprinting at me at full blast with a pistol in his hand and unloaded 6 shots at me.
No shit.
Yeah, so he unloaded. I unloaded on him, got off 3 rounds in a bolt lock. So dropped to my knees, and we called exfil. Ran around the back. Everybody got their guns up and running, and grenades started coming off the roof.
Gosh,
so in rally, what had happened?
Getting shot at, grenades. Hug Dealer says, "Hi, Scar Warriors. I've been watching for a while, cooking and cleaning. Love you, Colby. We are so proud of you." Thank you. We love you too. You're awesome.
So hold on. Did you eliminate the threat?
Yep.
He's dead.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hit you.
He did.
He did hit you.
He hit me in the chest plate and one of the magazines. So pistol caliber, like 45, dead center. Dead center. So snagged me there, which I don't know how he did it with a downward angle because that was presented. So blind luck, smacking the plates were good. I don't know where the other 5 went. I don't know how they didn't hit anybody else. But he was probably within 6 feet. He was there.
Gosh dang.
What you didn't realize, in the ISR update we did not get, is he was standing at the base of the stairs waiting. They never told us that. He's standing there waiting for us to come up. and there is another shooter in a sandbag position with a belt fed, a PK, aimed at the top of the stairs, and he's pulled off a suicide vest and laid it at the base of the stairs and pulled back a command wire, and you can see him. He's holding it. He's waiting to clack it off. You never know. So if I would have made entry, if I shot that dude and would have continued to go, that guy would have cut me in half. So just blind luck that I got bolt lock and I forced to retreat. So we start trading grenades on the roof back and forth. A bunch of different maneuver elements are happening. We've got 3 or 4 guys that are fragged from the grenades, our chief included, like a corpsman, our terp.
Thank you, Megan.
Our JTAC. So a bunch of guys. Not bad, but bad enough. I mean, your first time being wounded, like, takes you by surprise. Like, you're wounded eagle. It's like, oh no. Like, how bad? You instantly think the worst. But we had to win the fight. So we're trading grenades on the roof. We're doing that whole thing. And one of the
Stephen Kelly says, hi, everyone. Students just got out, so I am taking the chance to drop in. My dad is a Vietnam War vet. God bless this man. Your dad is awesome, and thank you for his service. Please, if you can tell him that.
guys wanted to send one of the mans from the courtyard. He grabs him, perfect English. He's like, I know who that is. Oh yeah? And he's like, it's my cousin. Like, Third tells him again, like, send that dude up there and tell him to tell his cousin to come down here. Like, we don't know who's up there. The slant was really weird that night with how many women, kids were supposed to be there. It was bad intel. It was kind of just hodgepodge. And we sent that dude back up there. And he's calling out to his cousin, you know, whatever he's saying. And he got halfway up the stairs and poked his head up. And that dude let it go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Killed his own cousin. And here we go. More grenades are coming off the roof.
My gosh.
So the whole force now, we're basically locked down inside of this building and grenades are coming off. We don't know how many dudes are on the roof. And now there's multiple maneuver elements of bad guys in and around the city. And we have to fall back now. We got a super badass new guy that posted up with a saw. Basically, everybody wants that opportunity. Rock the front of this building so we can all run underneath it. That dude stepped out and just whoa, 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 sent it. We all ran back and we got our first fire mission in, like our first like no shit fire mission.
Damn.
So that was cool. I didn't know I'd been hit yet.
You didn't know you've been hit yet?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, bro. Kira says, my brother-in-law is retired British Army Major General. Wow. He will never speak of his time in war, but he will call you sweetheart in the most charming accent ever. I love that. That's so cool. How crazy is that, guys? And again, we talk about the different kinds of trauma. One of the traumas is watching something happen, right? Like, that's a whole nother level. There's this trauma that comes from what he just talked about, which is he got shot, but there's the trauma of watching someone else, you know, get hurt or even hearing about it. There's different kinds of levels of trauma. Yeah, Sean Ryan's amazing, man. If you guys get a chance, go over, check him out, subscribe to him. He has way more interviews than this. He does a great job of bringing, you know, what we don't have is a lot of media where it's non-edited. Sean doesn't edit down or try to get a certain story. He lets his guests talk, which is very rare.
I had no idea. I kept having a bolt lock. So I fired 3 rounds, bolt lock. I dumped out a mag, grabbed a new one, and when I did, it cut my fingers. So where the round hit it, it had blown out the back of it, like a big spider web. So when I grabbed it, it filleted my hands open. So I dropped the mag, grabbed a new one, got the gun back up and running, and for whatever reason, I grabbed it off the ground and put it in my back pocket. Like, I don't know why I did it. I did it. So when we got back on the helo, we're flying out after that whole thing. We got all the medevac guys out. They were fine, minimal injuries, nothing crazy. We're flying back on the helo, and I'm sitting next to Jay Redmond, and I held up the mag, and I'm trying to focus it with my nods back and forth, and I don't know what it is. Like, it never even entered my conscious thought that I took a round there.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. Put it back in my pocket, and we get back to the ready room, and we're going in for the debrief, and I dropped my gear, and I looked at it, and it's still in disbelief. What the fuck is that? And I hand it to one of the other guys, and he's like, that's a fucking bullet, dude. Oh, that is a bullet. That is a bullet. Dead center. But it was weird when you look at the bullet and the angle it came into. We did a lot of breaching back then. We landed a lot. I used to run around with the charges captain.
So remember, breaching is them going up to the door with a hammer or explosives, putting it on the door, popping in, and then as a team going in, and someone curves in and you go into the house, into the threat at night with your nods on, meaning your night vision goggles. You've got your gear on, right? And you probably just look like I don't even know, man, but I would say they look like bad A's, but they go in there and you're in a line and you're literally just going and clearing rooms in and it's just crazy, right? It's like it's a whole nother level of adrenaline. Like, and that's happening. We're not talking about like one house or one thing. They know where there's certain targets. And so after they get all the intelligence in those targets, they're going in and doing this on a regular basis. This is normal to breach a house. I mean, that's just insane.
And I had them all capped in, and I had my primary charges in a pouch right there, and it nicked the edge of the pouch where the caps were exposed to. So obviously if it would have hit that blasting cap, that would have been a whole,
Damn.
that would have been a bad day.
So for the audience, just real quick, I'm just going to interrupt. When he's talking about the caps being exposed, basically a breaching charge is a bomb, you know, that they use to blow a door, blow a hole in the wall, blow whatever up. And the blasting caps are extremely sensitive. So if that would have hit one of those, it would have been end of the road for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were running on big charges, and we blew everything.
Crazy.
We blew everything. That was the SOP back then. If you could blow it, you blew it.
So you didn't even fucking feel, you didn't even feel the fact that you got fucking pegged by 45 in the chest
The way
plate.
that Sean does it. It's so, you know, just certain people, the way they say certain things, Sean just says, he just says it funny. I don't know why.
Thinking back on it, the guys behind me said they saw me like take a reflex. I didn't feel it. The next morning, when I stood up and I arched back, it felt like I did too many sit-ups, like sore in the sternum, kind of hard to take a full breath, but nothing like what you'd imagine. Like I imagined I would have known instantly, like, oh my God. I didn't. The adrenaline was so high that that's kind of what we use for like a training analogy now. Like when that adrenaline dumps, you won't know.
Yeah.
You won't know.
Crazy.
Like, in a proximity, a gunfight that is that close, where you see muzzle flash and you feel it, it's very different. It's not being shot at from 300 meters. It's not hitting the wall. It's inside of 6 feet. It's a very different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been shot. I don't know, you know, what that feels like, but I always imagined it would knock you on your fucking ass.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
So yeah, we got through that one. That was like reality is set in now. And it's like, okay, all the stuff in training now everything is slowed down. The CQB is super crisp now. It's all real world. We're very current, and it's good. Like business is great. We're going out every night, every other night. We got assets. It's awesome. As good as it ever could have been. And we go back. This is so the firefight you were referencing was the one with Jay Redmond and those guys. That was September 10th. So almost on the anniversary.
Wow.
And everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but in a positive way. Zero illume. There wasn't an ounce of moonlight out, nothing. And for the guys that don't run around with night vision, those things aren't perfect. They're not, man. You don't have any ambient light out there. They don't work very well.
That's what's so crazy is like they understand each other, which is why I think Sean is so successful at talking, obviously, to veterans. He is one. He's a combat veteran. He understands. And so it's different, right? Like when you speak to somebody who has a lot of trauma, there's an unspoken thing there that you kind of have an understanding. You don't need to lay a foundation. And so like anytime I've talked to somebody I know who understands trauma at a high level, you know, those conversations, it's if we were to talk about things, it's just this simpler way of like, you can start kind of going forward because I understand where you're coming from. You don't have to catch me up.
Don't. So we were going back to the exact same spot, 2 houses down from where that thing happened. So we called it the Karma House. Like bad karma, here we go. And we were going to land on the X. We're going to blow the front door and take this thing down hard. That's what we did back then. So flying helos right to the front door, and this is what we're doing. And we knew from past experiences exactly what kind of resistance we were going to meet, and we planned for the worst. Like I went in on that thing completely knowing in that first room I was going to get shot.
Damn.
Like they had belt feds, they had suicide vests, like these guys are committed.
Don't start all that.
For sure. If we go in right now, that first room is going to be sketchy.
I gotta make sure
And
these AirPods
we landed
don't
on the
die.
X,
Hold on
and
one
we
second.
ran through that thing like we've done a million other times, and there was no one there.
Whatever.
Dry hole. And we get an update that all those guys had left and had ran out the back. And now they're in adjacent, essentially a cornfield. But if you imagine an endless field of nothing, just a plowed field, and then right in the middle of it is about 500 yards of 6 foot tall, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like straw, but it's not. I mean, you can't see anything. And they're trying to walk us down on top of this guy. So we all switch over. It's probably 6 or 7 of us. And we all get online and we were all starting to walk down. We've all switched over to fires and we're listening. And two of the new guys and one of the EOD guys had not switched over to fires. We literally interlocked arms. That's how bad it was. You couldn't see shit. We couldn't lose anybody inside there. We'd never walked through the palm groves before. We didn't have a dog. We didn't have the experience. And looking back on it, it's one of the most dangerous things I've ever done, because you knew the guy in there had a gun, like for sure. You knew that they run around with S-Vest, and you know they're committed. So now we are walking on there. So if you imagine just a big open field with a big sparkle in the center of it, and we're going to walk towards it. And we're going to walk until we find this guy. Okay. So we do. Completely committed, interlocked arms, and we are walking forward, and we're getting the updates. 15 feet. 10 feet. You're standing on him. You see everybody looking down like, he's not here. Third person from the right, you are standing on him. And we all look over to the right, nothing. Like, what the fuck? So we're all on a line, standing right there. And Jay calls an audible. He's like, whole maneuver element, take a right-hand turn, because we know there's an open field. We just have to cross, and now it's completely open. Now we can regather our shit, and we can assault from this side. By just walking through all this crazy brush, we can approach it from the open side and just walk in the brush a little bit, maybe call them out, do something else. And when we turn right, this element stayed. They didn't get the word. So now we have a bad guy, our element, and then another element. Now we're in a Polish ambush. We turn, we walk out, and we enter this beautiful manicured open field. There's not an ounce of cover anywhere in it. There's not a rut. There's nothing. There's not a rock. There's a single tire, and it's about 20 feet, 30 feet from the edge of the brush line. It's just out there, and we're standing there, and a team guy gaggle, standing around like wondering, what the fuck? Is this guy really there? Is it a dog? Is it some animal? Like, these guys are clearly lost, and we don't realize that that bad guy is in there, probably 6 feet inside, and he's looking at us, and we're from the middle of the wall, and we're close. We're having a full-on conversation, and at one point, we're trying to...
Not seen the one with Victor Max. That's amazing, though. I definitely need to catch up. I've watched a lot of Sean Ryan's interviews, but as you know, they do run really long, and I love that. I'm a long-form person. I like watching something for a long period of time, even if I have to parcel it out. So, but no, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Relay to the other guys, because now we know we've lost 3. Now they're lost in brush country. We have to reconsolidate them so we can deal with this guy, because now we know the reality. We've turned the entire profile. Blue forces, bad guy, blue forces. We've got all the rest of the guys over here on the west side, and now we're trying to do a link up. Like, we have to get them around to reconsolidate with us. The blue force picture and knowing where everybody is challenging at times, but you really have to know then. We basically walked right up to the edge. It's Jay's there, our corpsman, our terp, the JTAC, and the guy we'll just call Matty is standing there with me, and we're all in kind of a team guy gaggle. And Jay hears something in the bushes, and I think he believed at the time it was the guys, and he screamed out, "Hey!" And when he did, that dude let off the biggest Hollywood belt-fed burst I've ever heard.
Holy
and
shit.
Everybody dropped. It was like we used to do the new guy scenarios. You know, you're doing land warfare, the first contact, and all the head shed dies, and that you got to drag around like, playing war games. That's what it was like. Everybody hit the deck. And there was a tree probably 30 feet that way. And I remember I turned, I heard it, watched them drop, and I was sprinting so fast to that thing. I remember the dust kicking up in front of me when he was tracking me. I dove behind the tree, and he pounded on that tree for what seemed like an eternity. I was on my back looking up. I mean, you can imagine, helmet's cockeyed, there's no ambient light, I can't see shit through my nods, and there's just dirt blowing all over me. I mean, I am consumed by this. I don't even know where he's at now. I don't know if he's on his feet chasing me down, like I'm just overcome with withering fucking fire. And then it stops, and he pans back over, and he starts to engage the dudes. This thing goes on for a little bit, and we're trying to reconsolidate. The JTAC has went out, and he's trying to grab people now. He's behind a tire. I remember looking over and seeing...
You see how much he can recall this, though? I think that this is insane that he can recall every moment, because that's how trauma is. Trauma is one of those things where it's like it burns very specifically into your brain.
Jay, and I remember him sitting upright, and I watched him get shot one more time, right in the face, and it looked like that was it. He hit the ground so hard, you knew he was dead. So this an audible has to be made. We have the JTAC, and behind this tractor tire, and I mean, it's a tractor tire. It's not big. It's about that half the ground. Serves no purpose. And he's behind it, and I'm directly adjacent from him looking at him. Like, I have an out this way. Well, you can't because we have all these dudes that are shot up. And I remember it was like the scene from Black Hawk Down. Come to me. Fuck you. Come to me. Ready? Yep.
I would hope so.
And I got
too.
up and I ran as fast as I
think
could,
it
and I
is.
dove like a baseball slider in behind that thing. And it was such a sigh of relief to feel another human next to me. I was so thankful that he was there. And now we have to figure out how to get out there and bring those people back here. And this whole thing's happening very, very fast. So Jay's been shot multiple times. He's discombobulated. He's talking, and this guy's still trying to shoot him, but he can't see shit because it's black. So if you're quiet, he can't hear you.
Like a T-Rex?
Well, the bravest thing I have ever seen in 17 years happened on that night. I watched Matty get up and run forward after he'd already been shot and grab our corpsman and is dragging him backwards, just like out in the movies. Corpsman pulls out his pistol and is shooting into this bush line. And Matty gets shot again. Boom, spins him around and dumps him. He gets back up, grabs him, and gets shot again. Dumps him, he gets back up and continued to drag him back until we got them all back to the tractor tire. We're all pulling them in there. We basically just dogpiled on them, just plates on plates, just trying to build up a human wall to not let these people be shot again. And he's still shooting us the entire time. He hasn't let up. He just doesn't know where we're at now.
How insane is this? Like, again, this dude's literally getting dragged. He goes out there for his brother, pulls him in there. What? What happened? No. They did not hit us with copyright. Man, frick this. Can you guys still see me though? Man, that's not right. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, it was still playing for me too. Is the stream down? Can you guys not see me? Or is it just gone? Oh, it's just gone. Man, frick this. I'm pissed. So let me see if it still says it's live. That just sucks. I understand. That freaking sucks, man. Frick this. So what happened for you guys? It just hit you with a copyright? Oh, stream unavailable. Suspended. Stream suspended for policy. That sucks, man. I know I can see you guys. I'm just making sure. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I understand it's not our, like, I understand that it's not our stuff, but I think that sucks because I try my always to make sure that everyone has like their due credit and the links and everything you can possibly do to get to it. But I understand we were pulling a lot of content from someone else. I get that, but that just sucks because you guys are definitely going to have to watch that interview. What we'll have to start doing, this is how we're going to fix this problem. This is how we're going to fix this problem. So if we start watching stuff together, what we'll have to do is go on live, start a timer, and instead of being able to pause, we'll just have to watch it live together. And then at the very end, discuss things. Like if we watch a documentary or do anything, that's the only way it's going to work because you can't do the audio, you can't do the visual, anything like that. So we will, we'll just have to do that. That sucks. Well, let me think for a second. Because what it's going to do is just cut that whole thing out. Yeah, that sucks. But it happens. Here's what we'll do. We'll just do a new stream. Let me go ahead and get one of our other main topics together. what I'd like you guys to do, if you want to hear that, go watch it. The link is in the description. You need to hear that. So I hope that they know that. I'm just trying to share that because people need to hear that interview. It's definitely one of the best interviews I've ever heard. If you don't want to listen to all of the military parts of it, which I think is definitely a huge part of it, but there's a part where he starts to talk about when he came home, and you can go in and watch what he talks about when he gets back and what it's like for him overcoming a lot of the issues he was having from the trauma. That was the whole point. I know it's one of the best. It's one of the best, interviews I've ever watched in my life. So if you go on there right now, let me show you. If you go on the video and click on our description, it will be the entire link. You can literally go to the link and watch the video. Oh, I guess I didn't put the link in there. What the frick? Anyway, all right, here's what we're going to do. Let me fix this all up, and I will start a new stream. I will let you guys know in the community tab, and we'll get right back to it. So just give me a little bit. You guys know I love you, and I appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with us even when it went out. We obviously are going to have to figure out what to do when it comes to reacting. Maybe I'll just have to play certain parts of that, maybe certain clips, very, very I don't know. Very edited. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, love you guys, and I'll see you in a little bit.